Kyle Larson's performance at Kansas Speedway highlighted NASCAR's most important dilemma. The Hendrick Motorsports driver dominated the AdventHealth 400, leading 221 of 267 laps, the best proportion of any driver at the track since Cup Series racing began there in 2001, 82.7%. So is NASCAR doomed to fall into a repetitive domination? The triumph was historic. Larson started on pole, won both stages, received the bonus point for fastest lap, and scored the maximum 61 points possible. This was the first flawless race of the 2025 season. Larson won by 0.712 seconds over Christopher Bell, giving him his 32nd career Cup Series victory and tying Dale Jarrett for the all-time record. Yeah, I was trying really hard to pace myself because I believe that was our longest run of the day, and I had been struggling a little bit at the end of the runs. You know, Chase was really good, and so I felt like I just needed to try to be better on my end. And I don't know if it was paying off or not at the end. I was still struggling. I don't know if the right front was starting to wear a lot or what, but I was starting to lose a lot of grip. And then I was vibrating really bad, so I was afraid a right rear or something would let go, Larson stated. NASCAR's problem has nothing to do with Larson's performance. Kansas Speedway produces NASCAR's greatest racing. The asphalt on the 1.5-mile circuit has aged extraordinarily well, thanks to harsh Midwest winters that resulted in excellent tire wear. The progressive banking creates several racing lanes. On its worst days, it is a 3-lane circuit that can produce 4 and even 5-wide racing right away following restarts. Despite the appealing on-track product, the grandstands were around half filled on Sunday. People had plenty of space to spread out, and if you looked closely, you could see how the seats in the center spelled Kansas Speedway. After years of sellouts in the 2000s and 2010s, the small audience reflected NASCAR's core issue as it moves into the 2020s and beyond. Marketing the best track in NASCAR should be simple. Yes, Sunday's race fell on Mother's Day, and high school graduation season was in full swing in Kansas City, but there was almost no local buildup to the race. For many years, NASCAR weekends were major events in this city. They recently seemed like an afterthought. This issue goes beyond Kansas City. In recent years, NASCAR has significantly reduced the size of its public relations divisions to save money. The link between these cuts and a lack of advancement is difficult to overlook. NASCAR continues to promote itself as the dominant motorsport in the United States, but demographic challenges persist. The Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway received more total views than the Formula One Miami Grand Prix, despite being broadcast on Fox Sports 1 rather than ABC. However, F1 handily won the coveted 18 to 49-year-old demographic, both in terms of total number and share. More than a third of F1 spectators were in that age group. Fewer than 20% of NASCAR watchers were. Larson's weekend showed his grueling racing schedule, which has won him the title greatest of all time among fans and competitors. On Friday night, he was engaged in a terrifying incident at Lakeside Speedway while racing in the high-limit racing sprint car series. He was back at Kansas Speedway on Saturday morning, qualifying on pole. After dominating Sunday's race, he flew to Indianapolis to prepare for a Monday night sprint car race at Kokomo Speedway before beginning Indianapolis 500 practice on Tuesday. Chad Knaus, Hendrick Motorsports Vice President of Competition, marveled, "A very short memory is all I can think. I mean, he just goes and goes and goes. And the thing that I've always been impressed with Kyle since he showed up at Hendrick Motorsports is that he is unfazed. Like nothing really gets under his skin. He doesn't get wound up. He doesn't get emotional about maybe something that happens on the racetrack. He doesn't carry weight on his shoulders when they have a bad race or whatever it may be," Chad Knaus explained. This victory catapulted Larson to the Cup Series points lead, 34 points ahead of teammate William Byron. It was his third win in the first 12 races, the quickest he'd reached that record in his career. Larson's feat becomes significant as he prepares for his second try at the double, which involves completing all 500 miles of the Indianapolis 500 and all 600 miles of the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day, Memorial Day weekend. I just think it's really cool. I think it's good for our team. I think it's good for our sport. I think it's good for racing, you know, that the Cup Series point leader is competing in the Indy 500 for the second year in a row. I would say last year was a goal of mine. This year, I didn't really think about it, but I do think it puts even more of a spotlight on us and our sports," Larson stated. Last year's attempt was prevented by the weather. Rain delayed the Indianapolis 500, where Larson qualified 6th and ran competitively before being penalized for speeding, dropping him to 18th place. The delay kept him from starting the Coca-Cola 600. When he finally arrived in Charlotte via helicopter conveyance, further rain prevented him from completing even one lap. Only Tony Stewart in 1999 completed the double. Larson's Kansas performance featured surpassing the 10,000 career laps lead mark. He became the 22nd driver in NASCAR history to attain this milestone, and only the 3rd active driver, behind Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Ironically, both Hamlin and Busch experienced mechanical difficulties at Kansas. Hamlin had clutch issues that terminated his day, while Busch was engaged in one of numerous late-race collisions. The triumph fueled a burgeoning rivalry between Larson and Christopher Bell. Both drivers have 3 wins in 2025, accounting for half of the season's total. They finished 1st and 2nd in 4 races, with Larson winning 3 of them. Bell's 2nd-place performance at Kansas was his career best. "I was surprised that he gave up on the top line on the last couple of laps and pulled down," Bell said. "But I was struggling just as bad as he was." The technical hurdles encountered throughout the race revealed continued tire management issues. Brad Keselowski appeared to be on his way to his first top 10 finish of the season, until a tire issue while racing second forced him into the wall with 72 laps remaining. Several drivers reported considerable vibrations, and teams pushed air pressure restrictions to gain speed. Yeah, it's all of it. There's no one isolated reason why you have a tire failure and the vibrations are high. If you walked up and down pit road at all, you saw the rubber and the debris that was laying on pit road from when they took the tires off. The rubber's caking on the insides of the wheels. People were busting cords in their tires. That creates a vibration as well. The failures are from heat, which is a result of low tire pressure, load. There's so many things that go into it. It's rarely one singular thing that creates those failures, Chad Knaus explained. But I want to throw out there real quick. Goodyear does a really good job. They typically bring a very good product. What happened today, I don't think was necessarily a Goodyear issue. I think that was a competitor thing, where we were really pushing the limits of the cars and the tires, Knaus concluded with. Hendrick Motorsports demonstrated organization-wide performance in Kansas. At different points, all 4 cars demonstrated championship-level speed. Alex Bowman came back from early damage to finish 6th. Chase Elliott led laps before a pit stop error set him back. Byron surged from 21st to 9th before tire problems dropped him to 24th. Yeah, I think that if you take a look at it, we're maturing as a group. Obviously, the crew chiefs are now in their 3rd complete year of working together. Our drivers are maturing, working together. They dive in deep with one another. They lean on each other. The communication at Hendrick Motorsports has always been high, but I don't know that it's ever been as high as what it is right now, said Knaus. This accomplishment is the result of team owner Rick Hendrick's 2017 decision to merge all 4 teams into a one building. The group operates completely transparently, no hidden notes or secret meetings. Everything is split among the 4 teams. When discussing engineering or setup theory, all 4 teams gather in the same room. Larson's dominance at Kansas was not surprising, considering the track's history. Just a year earlier, he defeated Chris Buescher by 0.001 seconds in NASCAR's closest finish ever. The California native has now led the most laps in Kansas Speedway history, surpassing Jimmy Johnson's previous mark of 197 laps in 2011. You know, this is awesome weather to get to watch a cool race, so I'm glad to not win by an inch right here this time. A little bit safer gap. But thanks again to the team. Congrats to all Hendrick Motorsports, the engine shop, everybody there, Kyle Larson stated. Larson's cooperation with crew chief Cliff Daniels is still producing benefits. They've been together since 2021 and share a deep passion for racing. Despite having little personal interaction during the week, their pre-race routine now comprises a diverse mix ranging from 80s and 90s rap to soft music and Metallica. Larson's future schedule appears to be fortunate. He has previously won at each of the following 4 NASCAR circuits, beginning this weekend with the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. So, will he win again? What do you think? Is NASCAR getting stale? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.